Shabbos, we have the great zuchus this week to begin Chumash Vayikra, and of course, what's most notable, right? What the Baalei Kriya will say, what's most notable is what we call the Aleph Zeira, the small Aleph in Vayikra. Shabbos says, so there's much written about why is it exactly that the Aleph is small in Vayikra, and of course, again, the idea that's most often brought up is that the Aleph Zeira, remember again, Vayikra means HaKadosh Baruch Hu is calling out to Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Torah itself is explicitly indicating how the Ribono Shel Olam calls out, right? It's not Moshe who has to initiate dialogue with God, but rather it's God who initiates dialogue with Moshe, which of course is an incredible accomplishment. Moshe Rabbeinu, in a display of humility, minimizes the Aleph. He minimizes the Aleph in order to go ahead and minimize the dynamics. So most understand the small Aleph as an expression of Moshe Rabbeinu's humility. So the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh makes an amazing observation. So here we have a small Aleph, but yet Rabbi say, if you skip to the end of Chumash Devarim, where Moshe Rabbeinu says, Ashrecha Yisrael, mi kamocha amnosha, praiseworthy are you, Klal Yisrael. Who is like you? Who is like you, a nation who has been saved so many times? So ultimately, again, the Baal Shem Tov writes, Kasav ba'alef rabasi. Shabbos say, the Ashrecha, the Aleph and Ashrecha, praiseworthy Klal Yisrael, is written large. Shabbos say, very interesting. So the Aleph in Vayikra, written small, right? Reference to Moshe Rabbeinu. The Aleph in Ashrecha Yisrael, written large. Says the Baal Shem Tov, why is that? Let's listen to this. The idea being that when it comes to himself, Moshe Rabbeinu is humble. When it comes to the other, Moshe Rabbeinu magnifies the greatness of Klal Yisrael. When it comes to your own stuff, be humble. When it comes to Klal Yisrael, see the greatness. So we'll say, if we just reframe this a little bit, what the Rebbe is teaching us is something incredibly profound. So we'll say, when I look at myself, it's very important to be able to see my shortcomings. Like we were just speaking about in the daf, about not living in Safek. And I'll say sometimes in life, we're so scared to see our shortcomings because we're so scared to admit that we have frailties and we have faults. But the truth is, we always have it. That's the small Aleph. Small Aleph is when you look at yourself, I will say you should see, this is broken, that's broken. Again, not as a way of beating up on myself, but a way of being honest with who I am. Because if I'm not honest with who and what I am, there's absolutely no chance I'm ever going to fix it in the future. So when you look at yourself, you look with a small Aleph. But I will say, when you look at your fellow Jew, it's always with an Aleph Rabasi. When you look at your fellow Jew, it's always Ashrecha with a capital Aleph. You see the good. See, I will say, it's almost like natural human tendency that when you look at other people, what do you see? It's an incredible thing. I don't know why HaKadosh Baruch Hu programmed us this way. That pretty much you could look at any other person and you could size up their faults in about 9.3 seconds, right? We've never said a word to each other, but I can pretty much tell you exactly what's wrong with you, right? And I can even tell you how to fix it. That's what a chacham I am. Let's say for some reason, like we have this predisposition to be able to just highlight and focus on the faults of the other. And the Rebbe is teaching us that's not the way a Jew lives. You look at another Jew, what you're supposed to see is beauty. What you're supposed to see is accomplishment. What you're supposed to see is a good kite, just a goodness in the other. Look at yourself, see the Aleph Zeira, the small Aleph. Look at your fellow Jew, see the large Aleph, see the good. Chevra, wonderful week of learning. Good Shabbos and Shkoyach.